Hey everybody, Alan Barnosky here with a lesson for Acoustic Guitar Magazine. Today we're looking at the tune Banks of the Ohio. This is Tony Rice's rendition on the recording Tone Poems that he does with David Grisman. Fantastic record. You can learn more about it at Acoustic Guitar Magazine. And in that same article is the tab for what we're going to be talking about today. So definitely go find that if you don't have it already. It's available for free at acousticguitar.com, so definitely go track that down. So I just played through the arrangement of this, what Tony plays for his kind of melody-based break. And in this song, there are 3 chords, and Tony Rice is using 3 distinct shapes for each of those chords. So what I want to do today is kind of walk through those different shapes. I think learning it this way is going to help learning this song and playing it make a whole lot more sense and a bit easier to do. So yeah, let's just dive right in. This song is played out of the key of A. We've got capo 2 here. So when we make a G shape, it sounds in the key of A. But I'm going to talk like we're in G. It just makes it easier to talk about that way, since we are using the capo here. So there are 3 chords used in this song: G, D, and C. And like I mentioned, for each of those chords, Tony Rice is using a distinct shape. Over the G chord, he's using a shape that looks like this. And over the D chord, he's using a shape that looks like this. When we get to C, he plays just your good old standard C shape. So hopefully you know this one already, the C chord. But let's look at these other 2 shapes that he's using because they're a little bit more unique. Starting off with the G, looks like this, and the way that you can think about this is the closed position way of playing a chord. So for a G, it would be like this, but I'm actually going to start by showing you an F chord. The reason I'm starting here is because hopefully you already know this chord shape. So this would be an F, and what you're doing is you're barring on the top 2 strings, and then your second finger plays at the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, 3rd finger, 3rd fret of the 4th string. And what you can do is you can take that shape and just move it up 2 frets, and this gets us back to where I was just a second ago with that G chord. So if you take your F chord, move it up 2 frets, that gives you G, right? So what you can do now to get into this Tony Rice shape that he's using, we're just going to move our fingers around and get a very similar chord voicing, but just using a different fingering. So instead of these top 2 strings with the 1st finger here, we're instead going to use our 2nd and 3rd. So originally we were like this, right? Top finger here. On that 3rd fret, we're going to use our 2nd and 3rd finger instead. All right, so 2nd finger is on the 2nd string of the 3rd fret. 3rd finger is on the 1st string at the 3rd fret. Okay? So now that you're there, you can then take your pinky finger goes at the 3rd string on the 4th fret. And there you go. There's our G Triad. It's a lot like this one, right? But we're just moving our fingers around. And the reason we're doing this is because it allows us to play some other notes in there as well. We can take our index finger. So if you lift your pinky finger, put your index finger down on the 2nd fret now, you get that voicing, or just lift both fingers off, you get that one. And that's the shape that Tony Rice is using. So I'll just show you in the beginning of this tune, you just go right into it. So that's what he's using here. It's that same shape. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is a different shape he's using over the D chord. So D, of course, is normally like this. What we can do here is move our fingers around again to get this other voicing that Tony Rice is using. So we're going to keep our index finger where it's at, but the other 2 fingers, our 2nd finger and our 3rd finger, those are going to move. So you can just kind of rotate your hand a little bit. Keep your index finger where it's at. Now 2nd finger is going to go where your 3rd finger was. So right, we were here. Your 3rd finger was right here. You're just going to move your 2nd finger into that spot. Okay, and then now what we can do is take our third finger, and this one's going to go at the 4th fret of the 4th string. And that's that voicing. All right, so we were here, and now we're going here. What's happening is we're taking that F sharp, and we're just moving that F sharp down an octave. So from here to here. So we've got that D, and now we're just going down to this D. All right, so that's what's going on there. And now what Tony Rice is doing is he's taking his pinky and using it along that 3rd string. So he's taking his pinky, putting it at the 4th fret of the 3rd string, then 5th fret of the 3rd string. And you see this start to come up in measure, I guess this would be measure 3. Back to the G shape. So those are the 2 main shapes he's using. Then also, of course, this C shows up in measure 11. Okay, so I'm gonna play through this tune. I'm gonna walk through where each of those shapes come up. So check this out. So we start off going into the G here. And we go into that D shape here. Shape. Index finger just kind of comes up to the top string to do this little flourish. And now we go back to the G shape. Stay on the G shape. Now we get that C chord. Back to G. So there you go. That's how these shapes are being used. I hope that helps. I think it's really helpful, at least for me, when I'm playing through this tune, to think in terms of those chord shapes. One other thing that I think is really going to help here is knowing the melody of the song. When you're looking at the tab, it's really hard to kind of get a sense of what the melody is. But when you hear Tony Rice play it, you can hear it for sure. So what I would recommend you do is first just listen to a bunch of versions of the song, specifically ones where people are singing it, where it's not instrumental, and you'll hear that melody a lot easier. With this tune, the melody goes something like this. So that's like about the first half of the melody. And of course, that's way less notes than what Tony Rice is playing. But when he plays it, when you listen to the recording, you can still hear that pretty clearly. So I'm going to go through and play the actual arrangement, just the first little bit of the arrangement here, and show you how I like to highlight this melody. Check it out. So hopefully you can hear that. I'm hitting those melody notes with a bit more emphasis. This is a more advanced thing. So if you don't get this right away, don't worry about it. But it's something to be thinking about as you're playing through it and working on it. And yeah, just something to think about. But that's pretty much it. I hope you have fun learning this tune. I hope you get something out of it. Please leave a comment below, or if you have any questions, you can find my information, send me an email. Would love to hear from you. So have fun with this. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.